For most of Earth's existence, the planet was not designed for humans. In fact, for the vast majority of human history, survival was not expected. Modern civilization creates the illusion that humanity was always destined to dominate the planet, but history tells a very different story, one of constant threat, overwhelming odds, repeated collapse, and improbable endurance. Around 300,000 years ago, early Homo sapiens emerged in Africa. They were physically unimpressive creatures. They lacked claws, fangs, thick fur, venom, armor, or extraordinary strength. Their speed was mediocre, their eyesight average, and their natural defenses nearly non-existent. In a world ruled by apex predators, lions, leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, giant birds, and venomous reptiles, humans were not hunters by design, they were prey. Anthropological evidence shows that early humans lived in constant fear. Fossil records reveal bite marks from predators, crushed skulls, and skeletal trauma consistent with animal attacks. Many early human deaths came not from old age or disease, but from being hunted. Any species facing such pressure should have gone extinct. Most did. Humans did not. They survived by doing something rare in nature, adapting faster culturally than biologically. Instead of evolving sharper teeth, they shaped stones. Instead of thicker hides, they learned to cooperate. Instead of brute strength, they developed endurance. Persistence hunting, walking prey to exhaustion under the sun, was one of the first human survival strategies. No animal was stronger than humans, but few could walk as long. This endurance was not just physical, it was mental. Humans remembered, they taught, they shared information across generations. Fire was controlled not only as warmth, but as protection against predators. Camps became social systems. Language formed not for poetry, but for warning, danger, food, shelter, death. Yet survival remained fragile. The Earth itself was hostile. Climate data shows that during early human history, the planet went through repeated ice ages, droughts, floods, and volcanic winters. Entire ecosystems collapsed within generations. Food sources vanished. Temperatures swung violently. Sea levels rose and fell. For most species, such instability meant extinction. Humans responded by moving. They migrated into deserts with little water, into frozen tundra without fur, into dense jungles filled with disease, and across open oceans without natural navigation tools. Each migration was a gamble. Many died, some survived. Those who survived adapted, and that knowledge spread. This adaptability is visible in archaeology. Different human populations developed different tools, shelters, diets, and social systems depending on their environment. There was no single human way to survive, only constant experimentation. Other human species existed alongside Homo sapiens: Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo erectus, Homo floresiensis. All were intelligent to varying degrees. All faced the same hostile planet. Only one survived. The reasons are still debated, but evidence suggests Homo sapiens were better at cooperation, communication, and long-term planning. They formed larger social networks. They traded. They adapted faster when environments changed. Survival was no longer individual, it became collective. Then came agriculture. Often portrayed as progress, early farming was actually one of the most dangerous transitions in human history. Skeletal remains show that early agricultural societies were shorter, weaker, and more disease-prone than hunter-gatherers. Farming tied humans to land, making them vulnerable to famine, drought, and invasion. Crops failed, starvation followed. Yet agriculture allowed population growth. With population came cities. With cities came disease. Tuberculosis, smallpox, cholera, influenza. Crowded living conditions turned human settlements into breeding grounds for epidemics. Millions died repeatedly. Entire cities were abandoned. Civilizations collapsed. Humans adapted again. They developed sanitation, quarantine, herbal medicine, and later scientific approaches to health. They learned, often painfully, that survival required systems, not just strength. Then came organized warfare. As resources became scarce, humans fought each other at scales never seen before. Bronze Age collapses wiped out entire cultures. Empires rose and fell violently. Assyrians practiced terror as policy. Romans mastered logistics and discipline. Mongols reshaped continents through mobility and strategy. War was not an exception in human history, it was the norm. Yet war did not eliminate humanity. Instead, it accelerated innovation. Writing developed to manage resources. Mathematics advanced through engineering. Medicine improved through battlefield necessity. Humans learned how to rebuild after destruction. The Middle Ages brought new trials. The Black Death killed an estimated 30 to 50% of Europe's population. Similar plagues ravaged Asia and the Middle East. No modern disaster comes close. Civilization teetered on the edge. Humanity survived. Labor systems changed. Feudalism weakened. Medicine slowly improved. Knowledge preserved in monasteries and libraries resurfaced.